War had been a rite of passage, no doubt, but a passage to what? All I knew was that I had lost my old self, that I had lost a state of innocence, but to what end? War cannot be understood from the perspective of that state of innocence we once held. War is complex, immediate, and visceral. To those on the front lines of war, it reveals the complexity of their own nature and the sometime final power of their choices. Taken as a whole, only a handful of our society ever truly experience it. Thus, it cannot be understood from our parents, our churches, or our community's perspective either. Healing the veteran is truly a multidisciplinary process, touching upon the heart, mind, body, and soul.
I'm Robin Carnes. Yes, I met Chris at the Specialized Care Program at Walter Reed, and that program was a very innovative, really one of the very first of its kind, integrative program, which means that it brought kind of the best of Western medicine, the best of what we would call standard of care medicine now, psychotherapy, group and individual, physical therapy, complete medical workup, and other types of care that a typical healthcare system, really good healthcare system can do. And they also integrated yoga and meditation into that, and at one point acupuncture as well, and massage. So let's start off by just seeing if there's anything else any other adjustments either we or you can make that would help your body be even 5% more comfortable than it is right now, just to see. So if there's anything I can get you, or if there's any adjustments you want to make.
So my name is Christopher Gidding. I'm actually a member of the United States military. I've served 2 tours in Iraq and 1 tour in Afghanistan. I had been home from a deployment for about 2 years, and I came home from that deployment with some baggage, and the military at that point had kind of caught up to what was going on with me and correctly referred me to an outpatient program at Walter Reed. So I was a part of the Specialized Care Program. It was a multidisciplinary approach to post-traumatic stress disorder and combat stress fatigue, among other things.
It just became more and more compelling to me, like, this needs to be happening other places. This needs to be available everywhere. And so that's how Warriors of Ease was born. We started teaching teachers who were approaching us saying, we want to help, and we know you're already in there doing it. Tell us what we need to know. Nothing to force, and everything happens by itself.
When I think of the first soldier I saw die, I see in my mind's eye the concrete floor of that aid station, layered in his bright red blood. I think of the time and effort it took to clean this up, which was an urgent effort on our part to return a sense of normalcy, not only for ourselves, but everyone out there. But on that final night, as our helicopter was inbound, mortars impacted our very spot. The dark night was now punctuated with spots of fire and the anguished crying of injured soldiers. The first soldier I helped carry 100 meters in the dark I swore was dead. My thoughts were fixated on the soldier I passed who called from the ground, I lost my leg. I was supposed to be out of this frame of mind already, home free, but now I was caught off guard by my friends bloody and mangled. An hour ago there were 40 of us, now only 32. Robin, through what she offered me, was for the first time. It was called I Rest meditation. In fact, when I think about how my body was coming home from Iraq, my nervous system was so rocked, and everything that I was having difficulty with was just this kind of anxiousness and this anxiety. And so the meditation starts out, it kind of says, hey, do you remember this place? This is your body. And it kind of walks you through your body and makes you it kind of calms you and brings you down, and then kind of just takes you consciously through this tour of your body from head to toe.
It's a complex mystery in many ways, but I think the most succinct way of explaining how yoga meditation help the body heal is to talk about how the nervous system is affected by either extreme stress or trauma. If a nervous system is impacted, a person is impacted by something that is just feels like it's life-threatening, that the two sides of the autonomic nervous system that are meant to kind of balance each other out are called the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. The sympathetic nervous system is the part of our nervous system that we wouldn't be here as a species, both of them we wouldn't be here as a species without. It's the fight-flight system that when we feel threatened, that our life is threatened, that system goes into full activation.
There was little fanfare and little ceremony to welcome us home, to commemorate our fallen, to offer the beginnings of closure on our hellish year abroad. It was off to the bars where I found myself cornered by soldiers who wanted to talk about it. Like the song says, some drink to remember, some drink to forget. My drinking increased, and I was told of what a mean and bitter drunk I could be. I felt stripped of my dignity, pride, and any kind of standing I could lay any claim to, as a result of a thorough demoralization that had taken place over the past year, and was sealed by my shame and foolish actions upon my return. I came to the States, never processing the experience of this past year and a half. I was a wreck. If you think about a car being in a spin out, that's how I had been for 2 years since coming home from Iraq. Yoga Nidra calms you, and you come out of that spin out. And so just that taking that tour through the body, just that opening part of Robin's meditation in particular, was phenomenal, because you're coming out of that spin out for the first time. And that empowers you, because for the first time in a long time, I felt somewhat in control. Whatever that garbage was, it's not in control right now. And it did give me a measure of being in control. So for me, that was huge. And then I feel, if I remember right, it was a 3-week program, and so later in one of the meditations, what was really critical was she kind of guides you to, think about one of the most horrific, traumatic experiences of your life, and go there for a moment. So you go there, right? But then she balances it out. You're taking the very absolute worst experience of your life, whatever it might be, the most traumatic or heartbreaking or whatever it might have been. But then she's also balancing that out by saying, now think of your absolute best, blissful experience. My distinct impression is of holding, and this is a combat experience, but holding these two things in balance. And what that does for you, it gives you perspective. Because I think for people coming back from combat, you're stuck on that horrific experience. So Robin, with her beautiful paintbrush, says, hey, remember,
back and spine, the back of the
there's
torso,
love and kindness in the world.
and
And there's a reason, you're not
belly, chest.
you're not stuck in that moment. When I think about Robin's meditation, those were the two distinct experiences that I remember going through the program, was just that. Welcome back to your body, you're in control again. And that experience that you've been stuck in, there's a wider world out there of love and kindness, and a reason to live and move beyond that. And I was healed from it, so much so that I could remain in the military, so much so that I could actually return to a combat zone. I went to Afghanistan, and so much so that I think I was able to, having had taken that journey and having survived it, and to count myself a survivor, twofold. And now to be able to count myself as a survivor, and to remain in the caring profession as a medic, and then to return to Afghanistan and to tend to a population of young men and women who were in some ways doing a mission that was far more complex and difficult than what we had done in Iraq. But while I was in Afghanistan, I reached out to the yoga instructor, Robin Carnes, and said that I would like to transplant your program to Afghanistan to bring your voice over to these young men. And she blessed off it, and she gave us permission before I found a program like that. And so to come home, or to be now in a combat environment and offer that to these young men, hoping, even just a small portion of it, to offer that to these young men before they had to go through that second war, the second war of coming home. I was just so blessed to be a part of it, and grateful actually for having gone through the experiences that I've gone through, taking the journey that I had taken, so that I could now serve this population in a way that I had been served. I actually have a room in my house devoted to Yoga Nidra. My wife, she is actually becoming certified as a yoga instructor as we speak, and she has too experienced Yoga Nidra and definitely sees the benefits of it. So it's definitely a part of our home. It's becoming a larger part of our home and lifestyle, and absolutely I love it. What it has done for me is, number one, that program that I was talking about just absolutely resolved whatever I had. It felt like something was trapped in my nervous system. It was dealt with. I love the idea. I love the idea of sharing it. And I wish Warriors at Ease all the best going forward. Clearly, there's still such a very strong need for Warriors at Ease, for Yoga Nidra, for service members just to get every chance that they can for real and substantial and enduring healing.
I'm going to end the practice with some completing statements. If they're meaningful to you, you can repeat them to yourself. May I be well. May I be healthy. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. May everyone be well. May everyone be healthy. May everyone be peaceful and at ease. May everyone be happy.